Hey, what's going on, guys? Kalamazi here, and I was debating putting a video up today just based on some Demonology gameplay and dungeons with the buffs coming in, last Tuesday and all that, but I wanted to make a video today talking a bit about each spec in M+, and why I actually think Demonology is likely the best spec for M+, for the vast majority of the player base, and possibly just in general. I've been debating making this video for a few days now, honestly about a week and a half, 2 weeks give or take, and I've been hesitant because it's sort of going against the grain of what most are doing as far as like Destro, even like AF and M+ and all that. But this is my opinion, but I want to break it down and talk about why I think Demo is like probably the best spec for the average player doing M+, and even like within reason on sort of the higher end in certain keys and all that. So yeah, we'll do that. WeakWars, add-ons, profiles, Twitch, Discord, website links up here. Also, kalamazi.gg. The website is up to date with the most recent builds for this, I guess, buff, week patch, whatever. If things change, I will also update that for you all. You can check it out there, build-wise, but it is indeed up to date. You can check it out, and that is that. So let's get into it. Now, this is a video that I've been debating making for a while. About a week and a half ago, I debated making it, but when the changes were announced, the buffs and all that, I said, let's wait, let's see where they all go, and then we can sort of, test it all out and then decide if I still want to make this video. I do. I think that when it comes to Demonology compared to Destro and certainly AF, I think Demonology is likely the best spec for the majority of the player base, doing 10s, weeklies, doing whatever, maybe even like 11s to 12s for the most part. You're pushing some IO, but not going for like these world first level keys, right? And high-end push stuff. Now, there is a difference between Demonology and Destro AF pet usage and all that. Demo has the Felguard, Axe Toss, half-minute kick, or 30-second kick, basically, with a stun baked into it, essentially. Fellhunter for AF and Destro, 24-second cooldown with a spell lock on it. So for as far as like raw kicks are concerned, usually favors the Fellhunter. To a similar extent, you also have your Imp Dispel being very relevant in certain dungeons for Destro and AF, like Siege of Borealis, last boss. Pretty good being able to spell those title pools, whatever they're called. Demonology could theoretically play the Imp, but you won't. There's too many talents built around your Felguard, too many damage amps, you lose too much, right? So certain dungeons may still favor Demonology or Destro or AF, or really Destro, for pet utility and all that. But I think like for the average player, even like people doing 10s, 11, 12s for score, people are sort of sleeping on Demonology a little bit, at least in my opinion. I think if I could rank them all, like overall, like putting aside higher end push stuff, it's probably Demo, Destro, AF, at least in my opinion. I don't think AF is flashy and it looks good and it's fun to play at certain points. We have CDs, but I don't think AF excels any one thing. It's not very good at single target. And the AoE is like flashy and stuff, but then like the quality of life is very low with Agony refreshes, Vital Taint having a long cooldown. And if you have no CDs going into a pack or just Vital Taint, it feels terrible. It's not very fun. Demonology has a well-rounded, stat cleave profile, strength, bombers, dreadlash, shadow invocation, grimoire cleaving, Felguard's cleaving, fire dog, fell thunder, implosions. Demo's known for that stat cleave profile and that minute profile as well. With Tyrant and Ring of Tyranny, every single minute you've got a Tyrant with demonic strength sync to it, with other cleave elements, with just like dogs every 20, implosion, big, I guess middle dog, whatever you call it, every 30. It's very solid. Destro has a good bit of cleave as well with like shadow burn stuff with havoc or mayhem usage, decent target swapping if you want to shadow burn stuff, good single target. I believe it's our highest simming single target spec now after the buffs, but Demo's not that far behind. Demo was our highest simming single target spec for a long time. Wasn't seeing a whole lot of play in single target until recently with like Tyveza and Sikron coming up, but I think the profile is slept on. Now I've got a handful of sims here I want to look at. We're going to compare things along the way. So this is the build basically here. I've run a lot of Demonology sims. Kalamazi 1 is this build here. You're playing Grimoire, Sunder, none of this stuff here. You're playing Invocation and you're not playing Dread Calling. Some are playing it, some aren't. I've gone back and forth on both, it's fine either way. But this build's consistent, right? It has cleaver minute with, Tyrant, strength, all that, every 2, Grimoire. And it sims the highest in 8 target, 40-second sims. I have basically 8 targets, 40 seconds. I have 3-minute sims here with 8 targets, and I have 5-minute, 1 target sims we're going to compare for every spec pretty much of relevance here. Now breaking this down briefly as well, going into this advanced sim here, looking at like prio target boss damage, this build's also 3rd highest overall, 1.562 million comparatively to the highest one playing Saxold, which you only play in plus, being 1.576. So realistically, I mean, it's very close to the other Flame Touch build, which I'm not even sure what talent combination this was. There's a lot of them here, but it's pretty solid when it comes to like boss damage, prior damage overall, and it's the highest when it comes to overall cleave, right? Now, Demonology, when it comes to these sims, even in gameplay, not as flashy as Destro or Af. Like, you want to do a pack with Destro with, you know, if you're playing Hellcaller with your Infernal and Malevolence and Kata and CDF, you pop it and the world melts, right? But outside your Infernal, even with Malevolence, it's like, yeah, it's solid, but I'm not topping meters with just Malevolence every minute or so, right? It's fine, you know, but not like incredibly impactful, you know. Diabolus Destro as well. Diabolus was hit with that nerf to Ritual, you know, a few weeks ago, whatever. Only Rain of Fire giving 1 second reduction per shard spent. Demonology was not hit with that. Hand of Gul'dan costs 3 shards, which gives you 3 seconds off of Ritual. Hand of Gul'dan has a cast time, so it sort of makes sense, but Demonology still gets the full benefit of Hand of Gul'dan cast with Ritual. Keep that in mind. Demons arguably spawning faster for Demonology compared to Diabolus. Have to look at the numbers. I don't know, but that's the thing. And then if you're playing Affliction, right? If you have Dark Glare, if you have Soul Rot, if you're Soul Harvester or Malevolence of Hellcaller, going into a pack with Soul Rot, Battle Tank, Dark Glare feels great. You nuke the world. But then everyone's been in that spot where you nuke the world and it dies so fast, you go to the next pack, you have no Dark Glare, you have no Soul Rot and or Malevolence, you have a Vile Taint maybe. Maybe you don't, you're just throwing out agonies randomly, and it feels terrible, right? That's a problem with AF's, I think, design in a sense, like not really a way to have a shorter Vile Taint or extend agonies for, you know, the duration of Vile Taint. There's a lot of like up and down. Destro and Af are burstier, I would say, for the most part, but I think Demonology's profile is a lot more consistent with Demonic Strength, Tyrant, Dogs, Implosion, everything every minute, half minute. It can get even stronger with Grimoire being buffed and everything, now every 2. So getting into the Sims here again, trying to break it all down. So we have, once again, 40 seconds, 8 targets for Demonology here. I have Mechanome, now, Destro, playing Diabolist, Hellcaller stuff, sorry, Diabolist, Destro stuff here. I am playing Shadowburn and CDF. Whatever build you want to play is fine. It is what it is. 7.156. Now, not a whole lot higher than the actual Demo Sim here, give or take. When you have Infernal, the world melts. Infernal being a 2-minute cooldown means you're getting most of your Infernal in this actual damage window, being 40 seconds, Infernal being half a minute. You know, you're getting a lot of value here, right? Now, sometimes you might win a Shadowburn more than 0 times, depending on prio mobs here. These sims aren't always incredibly accurate with the packs dying towards the end, but either way, you can sort of understand how the damage profile works, right? Ruination, Overlord, Big Mommy, or Fiend here being a part of your damage, less than what it would be a few weeks ago, you know, pre-Diabolus nerf or destruction. Looking at an actual Hellcaller, for Destro here, an actual Hellcaller Destro Sim, 8.526. So higher overall, you're pairing Infernal with Malevolence, all that, same build here. But at the same time, outside of cooldowns, doesn't always feel as strong, as impactful. It's got solid single target, or solid AoE, and it's not terrible in single target either. We'll look at that in a minute here. But without Infernal, not necessarily always as strong. And obviously, I am playing Spymaster in these Sims. I'm playing it for all of them, so there's some variance with stacks and all that. Just take it into account. It is what it is, right? Looking at Affliction, this is the highest burst overall. Hellcaller, Af, Mechanome, all that stuff here. Playing this version, very, very strong. You've got Dark Glare, you've got Soul Rot with Dark Harvest, Malevolence, all that paired together, hitting 9.1 million burst overall in an 8-target 40-second sim, right? Looking over at Soul Harvester, 8.3 essentially, which is still very strong even compared to Destro. A tiny bit below Hellcaller Destro, but still very, very strong. Soul Harvester bringing a bit stronger single target as well, if you're looking at this build in a single target setting compared to Hellcaller. But once again, you know, that weird, all right, well, I don't have Soul Rot, I don't have Dark Glare, I don't have Vile Taint, whatever, heading to the next pack. A bit of awkwardness in certain spots, right? Now, they are, you know, looking at Demo, about, you know, $1.5 million to 2 million to 2.5 million DPS higher in these, you know, higher target burst settings, right? But if you make these sims the same thing, 8 boss targets, 3 minutes, things become a lot closer when it comes to sims. Demonology is sitting at 6 million here at 3 minutes. The, you know, 40-second sim sitting at 6.7, 6.6, whatever, but still about 6 million sustained, right? Looking at Destruction, 6.505. This is the Hellcaller one, right? At 3 minutes, comparatively to the Hellcaller one before, being 8.56. Pretty close to Demonology. Still favoring Hellcaller a little more. Keep in mind, you know, fights, varying damage or varying durations. You're basically getting an Infernal ending here within half a minute. So maybe a bit more inflated compared to Demonology at 3 minutes. Tyranting right around 3, give or take. Much closer when it comes to overall damage. Playing Hellcaller, same build. Looking at Diabolist, actually lower than what Demonology is sustaining here. Around 6 million, compared to Diabolist being 5.336, with Infernal ending, relatively somewhere around this point, give or take, right? Actually lower. Once again, that weird or that sustain is not always there, right? Because your Infernal is more impactful CD-wise compared to Tyrant, but Tyrant is more often. Going into AF stuff here, Hellcaller AF, 6.712. Demonology is 6 million. Still a bit higher, but Hellcaller AF, keep in mind, was sitting at 9.1 million in a shorter burst scenario because you're getting all the cooldowns together. Dark Lair, Malevolent, Soul Rot, throwing them all, right? Much closer when it comes to just like a general longer sim 8-target scenario, which also isn't the best comparison because you're not going to be in 8-target scenarios forever, but this is factoring in more cooldowns, right? You're not going to have that Dark Lair every pack. You're not going to have that Soul Rot every pack or that Malevolence every pack, right? But even if you don't have minute cooldowns, whether you're playing Destro or Demo or AF, Demo still has Dog Cleave. It still has Implosion Cleave, Hand of Gul'dan Cleave, Felguard Cleave, Felsunder, right? AF doesn't always have that much. You might have a Vile Tank to throw going into a pack. You might have some Rain of Fires to throw and a Kata and a CDF as Destro, but not as much as what Raw Demonology has every single pack. Then you finally have Soul Harvester AF here, 5.829, actually lower than what Demonology is sitting at to a similar extent. You don't always have that Soul Rot, don't always have, those CDs stacked up like Demonology may have more often, more frequently. Even outside of all the cooldowns, the cleave profile, the consistency of Demo's profile is very, very solid. So looking at all these, so Mechanome Destro's, Hellcaller Destro's beating it out by about 500,000 DPS, but Diabolist is lower by 500,000. Hellcaller AF, that's 700k. Soul Harvester's lower though, and once again, depending where the fight, the pack ends and all that, it might not even have cooldowns for the next pack. So Demo has that consistent profile. Now looking at actual single target sims here, I've taken these exact builds, put them in 1 target 5-minute sims here as well. Where's the Demo one at here? Let's see. I'm not gonna edit this out. We're gonna go full screen because I don't want to spoil anything, but they're out of order. I don't want to spoil it yet. All right, here we're doing this. So perfect. We have Destro, AF. There you go. Perfect. All right, we're back. So 1 target 5-minute sims, Demonology. Now the actual build that sim the highest here, like Kalamazi 1 and AoE and all that, this build right here does sim a bit lower in single target because it's a little more AoE oriented, but I will say it's not terrible. That build is sitting right here. You gain about, no one's playing Sackles and M+. You gain about 30k playing Imp Mother Umbral Blaze, which there's that. A little bit of give and take there. You can play that build if you want. That build's not even like horrendous when I simmed it here. You're losing a bit, but Saxels is right here. I'm not even losing a whole lot regardless. So you pick and choose the build you want, but you're sitting at about 1.3 million, give or take, 1.275, depending on build you want. Here's AF. Soul Harvester AF, 1.245 million. Even compared to the straight up, cleave build here that was topping in the overall cleave sim, Soul Harvester AF is lower by about 30k. 30k upwards of 70, 80k, right? Because, CDs, various things, this and that. Just the fact that honestly, AF probably could have gotten a little more love in single target with these buffs, but it's just not as strong. AF, if you played AF at M+, you probably have noticed that AF single target is lacking compared to Destro, compared to Demo. And that is also shown in this sim. Once again, it's hard to replicate exact scenarios because sometimes you'll have Spymaster stacks in plus, sometimes you have some cleave on a boss, but if you've run every spec in plus, I would assume you guys have felt this too, right? Now looking at actual Hellcaller stuff here, you're not even at 1.2. You're sitting at 1.157 in single target. And this is all, starting from 0 with everybody getting cooldowns, varying durations on fights and all that. But Demo, once again, sitting at 1.274, if not 1.3, compared to 1.245 and 1.157. A lot of, a decent bit of disparity here, give or take, depending how things are looking. When it comes to Destro stuff, sitting at 1.281 million. All right. Now, that's about where Demo is sitting. Destro is our highest, I believe at this point, our highest simming spec after the buffs and all that. 1.274 is where Demo's sitting at for me. 1.281, almost the same for destruction, right? This is really only one or two builds you play as Destro, and this is like the CDF Shadowburn build, which is pretty solid. This is also Diabolus, which is our strongest hero talent in single target, comparatively to like a semi-mid, cleave based build for Demo. If you want to go more single target based, you can beat out Destro in this sim, right? In single target. And when you hop over to our Hellcaller sim, it's 1.266, which is also lower, about the same as the cleave sim for Demonology, right? So a lot of it is based around damage profiles. So we talked about Demonology has this really strong stat cleave profile, right? You can go into a pack with Strength, with Dreadlash, with Dogs Chomping, with Grimoire at times, with Felsunder, with your purple or red dog, typically red and M+, Doom Spreading, all of that. Even if you don't have cooldowns in Tyrant and Grimoire and all that, you still have just baseline Felsunder. You have Dreadlash, Dogs Chomping every 20. You have Implosion, you have Handed Gul'dan Cleave, you have just general pet cleave, right? You have your dog being half a minute. There's a lot of just consistent spells you cast that cleave as Demonology. Destro and AF don't always have that. Destro has Cataclysm, which feels great heading into a pack, right? You're able to throw down a huge Cataclysm, apply a bunch of Withers, Immolates, cast CDF, extend them all, whether it's, Wither or Immolate, maybe pop Malevolence if you have a minute cooldown up. But if not, I mean, you go into a pack with Kata, into a CDF, and throw some Rain of Fires, some Shadow Burns, but that feels pretty mediocre. I think most of us have been there. If you have Infernal and or Malevolence to pair with them, yeah, you melt the world. But at the same time, if Demo has Tyrant and Grimoire, you do a good bit too. The burst might not be as high, but from pack to pack, the general consistency, I think, is better for Demonology compared to Destro. Even to a similar extent with Affliction, I mean, sometimes you've had Soul Rot and Vile Taint and Dark Glare and Malevolence. So you go in there, and once again, I mean, you nuke the world down at 9.1 million DPS, and then you go to the next pack and you're flat, and you're below the tank, because you have no cooldowns at all. Or you got a Vile Taint, right? So a bit of that, most of it is just damage profiles, variance in them. I think AF needs some love, probably in like the single target department. Probably should have buffed UA more, maybe like double Xavius' Gambit and buff other things baseline. But in general, I think Demonology is being slept on as far as like being the most competitive spec for, I guess, the average player in M+, and honestly, even getting into some hierarchies. Maybe not like world first stuff where you want like maybe a little bit more of what Destro has to offer with like Imp Dispels or like, shorter kicks and all that. And if that's the case, then yeah, I think you can do that. But I think Demonology is being slept on a good bit when it comes to Warlock and M+. In dungeons like Tyrannicide, at the end, when you have the little mobs that are dying fast, the worms that don't mean a whole lot, yeah, they don't mean a whole lot. But if you tried to ramp those packs, AF, compared to AF or even like Demo or Destro compared to Demo, that's a great example of varying damage profiles. Demo can go in there, throw some dogs, throw a strength, throw an implosion, you're blowing them up. Do the little worms matter? Honestly, no, not really. But if you've played Destro or AF in those settings, AF gets a Vile Taint and maybe a Soul Rot off, some Dark Harvest Cleave, and they're dead. Destro can go, CDF Kata, put an Infernal down, Rain of Fire. You're ramping a bit, they're all dead. Demo goes in there and just throws dogs, throws imps, and you're cranking. Once again, are they relevant? Not necessarily, but you can also extrapolate that out to other packs. Larger pulls in Stone Vault, so on and so forth, right? So Necrotic Wake first pulls as well. Destro can burst incredibly high in Necrotic Wake on the first few pulls, with Lust, with CDF, with Kata, with Malevolence and all that, Infernal and Crank. But overall, just like general consistency, I think Demonology is the best spec. I'm not saying it's the best overall, 100% in M+. I think it, for the average player, like, average, probably Demo, then Destro, then AF. On the high end, I think it's probably Destro in a handful of keys, certainly in some when you have like Imp Dispels and shorter kicks needed and all that. I think it's like Demo, or sorry, I think it's Destro. I think Demo's like right here. And then AF. I don't think AF excels at any one thing. Maybe a bit flashy on the meters, but like subpar single target, subpar consistency. The profile's awkward. I like AF. I want to play it more in plus, but like when you're in a world, when you've played Destro with Cataclysm and a CDF and all that, and then you've played AF, like, with Vile Taint, having to refresh 7 agonies manually, and then, oh, it's off CD again. That's awkward. The quality of life for AF is not there. I think the quality of life's not there. The damage profile's a bit lacking. And you can skew AF a bit more towards like single target based stuff to like get, improved haunt, other things, to make your single target better in M+. But at that point, you're hurting the damage profile of like the burst a bit. And at that point, I think just play Destro or more likely Demo. So thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the video, and hopefully maybe it maybe it helps sway some of y'all a bit more towards playing Demonology and M+. I will say I enjoy every spec in M+. I enjoy Demo and Destro more than AF in M+ right now. I like AF. I like AF probably the most of all three specs, like thematically as a whole. But after playing Destro with Cataclysm, CDF, Hellcaller, and all that, and then going to AF with Vile Taint and like weird Shard economy, and also like without Soul Harvester stuff, playing Hellcaller, and also not having ways to refresh agonies, it just sort of takes like the fun out of AF in a sense in M+. I still like it, but yeah, Demonology's just been performing well for me in M+, even like before the buffs and all that. I think it's time to finally talk about that. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Let me know down below what you guys think about it. But that's that. If you guys want any week orders, add-ons, or profiles, links to Twitch, Discord, the website, all up here, as well as down below in the description. All for free for you guys. And like always, a huge thank you to all my patrons for all support on Patreon. I greatly appreciate it, guys. Thank you so much. It allows me to keep doing what I'm doing for y'all and making vids and playing WoW and, all that. And I greatly appreciate it. If y'all are looking at supporting on Patreon, should also be a link up here. I went to the wrong side, head bob and all that, but yeah, thank y'all a million times. I think you will still see Destro play in like a decent bit of hierarchies and stuff. Like we talked about Siege of Borealis being very important for Imp Dispel, a couple other places here and there, pet utility, and that longer kick make things a little tough for Demo. But at the same time, like I think the damage profile is consistent. You've got strength at every pull, minute cooldowns and Tyrant being stronger. Just in general brings a pretty solid, I think, well-rounded profile, which I don't know if Destro does as much outside of your Infernal. Hellcaller Destro is fun. Malevolence every minute is pretty good also, but with the Diabolus nerfs to Ritual and all that, I am a little hesitant to say I like Destro the most, and plus, I'll say I like Demo more. So, thanks for watching, guys, and I'll catch you all again soon on stream. Peace!